So guys, to continue from where I got cut off by apparently high temperature in my phone, because I have it up here on the dashboard while I'm driving. So we support, in the name of all that, those lies and deception from those so-called in charge that penetrated the school system, educational, entire infrastructure, structure, concept and context. They spread these lies left and right, back and forth, to the point where they almost managed to completely erase traces that are now coming up because people started digging and they don't leave it. A lot of people do not leave it alone. So they kept digging and digging and digging, and things are coming up. Just like when you lie, at some point things will be turned up, and everything that was hidden will come out at some point. You can never completely cover all your tracks, the whole thing at some point starts cracking up and the truth starts coming out. With that being said, we support our governments in that name, not maybe me personally, or maybe with some of my actions or some of my investments, the way I spend money or whatever. We all do. Unwillingly also, willingly, unwillingly, it's a hard topic to discuss, but, however we do it, we support the governments to go into wars, terrorize countries terrorizing each other over territorial disputes, because oil, may be available everywhere, but is not as accessible as electricity is. Electricity is everywhere around us, everywhere. If only we can harness it, it's right there. So we don't need to drill, we don't need to get, deep into the crust of the earth. None of that stuff. As much as we have to mine for the lithium cells, I'm not sure, maybe there is a different way to produce batteries. I don't know, maybe that society at that time didn't have to cause all these damage, didn't have to have all these quarries, and or maybe they did, maybe they were not excessively digging, excessively producing things, because now we have so many people and everybody wants to have everything, right? Just because we're so spoiled, because now we are somehow entitled that we just have to have the best stuff all the time, and everybody wants to have everything. Most of the time, as we know, it is for the status. It's not because we need it or because we really use it, but we want to have it parked in front of our house, or we want to have it inside our house, or we want to have it on top of our house, or we want to have a house in a certain way so that everybody else can see that we have those things. Corporations, no different. They boast with these big ass buildings full of glass, mirrors, whatever, marble, all this nonsense. Everything is now glamour. Everything is for the outside, glamorous, reflections everywhere. That's the vanity of our society. That's expressing the vanity, how vain we are. Everything has to shine. Back in the days, in that civilization, things didn't have to shine. They were beautifully made, or ornaments, details, extremely detailed. Businesses, a lot of small businesses. Now that's not supported. Now, as we see, it's crumbling down because certain forces in power want that to be that way. So when it comes to the noise, this was not like that. Gasoline powered engines, they're loud. They are loud in general. Is this an expression of our society? Yes, it is, because we succumb to our lowest instincts, most primal instincts. So we want these sounds to surround us. And maybe not that we want them to be, in our presence all the time, but somehow they are always reconfirming our primal nature, always reconnecting with very, very lowest layer of ourselves, very primitive, very basic, survivalist instinct, aggression, obnoxious behavior, obnoxious sounds. You can't be creative. We are not a creative society, despite of what you think We are not creative. This, what we're doing now, it's mass production. This is not creativity. So don't mistake mass production for creativity. Creativity is something else. You cannot be creative in this world. This world is crazy. You know, if you're a creative person, you strive to move the fuck out away from people. This is how real creative people feel like. This is the actual truth. Why do you think it's like that? It used to not be like that. In that society, people lived together in cities, producing, being extremely creative because they had peace. Guess what? If you have everything powered by electricity, even construction equipment, there's not much noise going on. It's not a whole lot of noise that you keep hearing. Now we have these bulldozers, now we have these cranes, everything is like that's what you're hearing all day long. Then you have sirens, extremely loud sirens. Why the heck does that have to be? This is constant terrorism against your soul. You're constantly distracted. You're constantly surrounded by this insanity. This is a circus. This is a clown world. And so we've been sold these lies and taught these lies throughout the whole educational system that, once we were primitive and then we created this stuff. Wait a second. How we created that stuff? Are you serious? How did we create that? We are not creating that stuff today when we are claiming to be advanced. But you're telling me that we created that? We can barely create nice stuff today. But somehow we create all the beautiful stuff, and now we are creating, now when we are advanced, we're creating this crap that doesn't look like anything aesthetically amazing. That's nonsense. You see, connect the dots. Something is off, extremely off. Imagine the world where you live in the city. There's quiet. There's of course a certain amount of noise that comes with people, but they were not obnoxious like us. They were not obnoxious. They were not drinking in the streets, yelling, boasting around. They were not stupid like that. That's what you're being told, because then you normalize and you accept as something normal that you behave like that. But you behave like an ape. You behave like a chimp in the zoo or out in the wild. What do chimps do? They're loud. They have wars with each other. They're violent, extremely aggressive, and also gentle. So this nature is propagated as something, promoted as something natural to us. But it's not natural. We have so much, we can reach so much higher. We can reach so much deeper, to so much better understanding and existence than what we currently are exhibiting and accepting. The main thing is accepting. We are accepting this to be normal for us. People eating meat, that's normal, I feel very primal. Like we're like psychopaths, possessed psychopaths. It's not an exaggeration. It may seem like an exaggeration, but this is exactly when you're realistically truly look into our behavior. That's what that is. It's psychopathic behavior. We are so self-absorbed in the wrong sense of the word, not self-absorbed in the sense of exploring our deepest potentials. No. No, self-absorbed to the point where we don't give a shit about anything around us. So wherever we go, nothing has peace. Nothing and nobody has peace wherever we go. Wherever this humanity, this society nowadays, this advanced society goes, it's nothing but terrorism and violence against everything that surrounds it. And then we wonder why animals are aggressive towards us. My God. Really? I mean, shit. If you're surrounded by people, sometimes you want to strangle them. Just because of the way they behave and all this noise and all these interruptions and these disruptions, and it's ridiculous. It gets to the point where you just want to detach and fucking run away into the mountains and live there, if possible. So many people are so sick and tired of dealing with one another, tolerating this noisy, obnoxious behavior, these activities, loud music. This all goes together, Think about how classical music was the music. That was the music. These were the sounds. It's very, very calming. So society like that, if there was music played, it was natural music, nice instruments, natural, meaning like no overproduced bass that goes boom, 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 and guitars that go wham, bam, bam, down. This is what we have now, and people screaming into microphones, because we embrace, in our society, we embrace aggression, we embrace violence within us. That's how we always connect with our primal, and that's how we feel at home. So, and this is promoted as something amazing. We even pride ourselves of this primal brutality. This is what we exhibit. This is how we live. And you wonder why people are aggressive towards each other. You wonder why people go crazy and start shooting people. I don't wonder why it's like that. I'm actually surprised that it's not happening all the time. I mean, it's happening all the time. I mean, if you think about the whole world, yes, as we speak, it's happening right now somewhere. Okay? But I'm just surprised that I can actually walk through the city and not see these in every single minute. I see a lot of craziness, by the way. It's not like there's peace. Far from that. I mean, people are freaking insane. More and more so. And so, to look back, if you have a society that is extremely creative, it's also extremely peaceful. Because it's also very fulfilled on the inside. You see, things go hand in hand. Nothing works only one way. Everything kind of connects. So it's not only that we are accepting these things, but we are accepting them for a reason. We are accepting them because we are at that level now. Our awareness of ourselves, of spirit, soul life, stuff like that, out a window. Sure, in the cliches, in the social media, social networking, everybody's so proud of belonging to God and blah blah blah. The girls that show the boobs on Instagram and OnlyFans pages, they claim they're God's daughters and bullshit like that. Come on, what the fuck? Are you serious? I mean, I hear this stuff and I see these things and I'm like, it makes me want to puke. I can't judge you if you say I don't give a shit about God. God doesn't exist for me and I don't give a fuck. I'm free to do whatever I want as I please. I can't judge a person like that because what am I going to judge them upon? But if you say I'm a Christian, I'm God's daughter, that means something. Then I will look at you through that filter that you put yourself behind. You did it to yourself. You claim to be some amazing creature from the Creator, but you act like an ape. You're embracing your lowest instincts. You're embracing your lowest, layer of being. And you want to, give me an impression that you're some devout, faithful creature to this amazing Creator of all, intelligence and all-seeing spirit that, created this amazing life. You're not a reflection of that. You're a reflection of a monkey. That's what that is. And if a monkey comes to me and says, you know what, I'm extremely intelligent, I created this world, I will laugh. That's impossible. You didn't. So yeah, it's hard to take people seriously when we can see that the way of living is extremely just violent, just aggressive on all levels. So we embrace this machinery. We embrace gasoline-powered, options because that's natural to us. That we connect with that nature and when it's like we enjoy it. But if you really look at it, what would a city look like and feel like when everything is basically powered by electricity? Everything's quiet. Sure, electricity, sure. You can have, we have electric leaf blowers, right? They can be just as annoying, a little bit less annoying than the gas-powered ones, but you can still hear, you can still hear, and that frequency after a while, it also can drive you crazy. Now, I'm sure they didn't have such, because, this is our beginning, beginning into this electrical machinery. So you can imagine that this will be improved, that even this noise, even the frequencies will be tuned out and will be tuned properly, that they won't be exhibiting these, because like I said, everything we touch, we have to make it into these aggressive frequencies. When we constantly are surrounded by aggressive frequencies, we cannot raise our frequency. You see, that's the trick. That's why they're doing that. They made these machines to constantly push us down, to constantly remind us that we are primitive, but we're not. So we have to remind ourselves and one another, those who are awakened, that that's not the truth, that that's a lie. Because once the world was peaceful, once the world was embracing classical music, once these frequencies among people were producing peaceful environment. People were nice to each other. You can also tell they were nicely dressed. They had taste. Now, nobody gives a shit how you dress. Except in some certain circles, but that's only then because of the status. Back then, it was just something that you do. Something because you respect yourself. You don't come up out in pajamas. You know? That's how the world functioned at one point. And people were productive, creative. They were extremely innovative. So all these technologies that we are discovering, we are not discovering shit. These have been way, 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 produced and refined and perfected back before this society here even touched the ground. That's what you need to know. Because this brutality, battles, wars, people stabbing each other, slaughtering each other, that's a freaking lie. They want you to think that you are that. So that when you do that and when you feel enraged, you won't tame yourself. You will not look for something better within yourself, because you will simply say, hey, I'll find an excuse and I'll say, that's how we are. We can't help ourselves to be better than that. That's just the way we are. We were always like that. Lie, 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 lie. We were once not like that. Okay? We were completely different. We were a peaceful society, extremely creative, extremely productive. Now we are on a hamster wheel, and they want to keep us doing that. They want to keep us running paranoid and scared for our future, scared for our now, scared for our present, scared for ourselves, scared for these bodies, scared of everything. You know what that causes? That causes a symptom to arrive, which we see nowadays. We can observe it in most people. They're mentally ill. Back in the days, that was mentally recognized as what it is. That's mentally ill, unstable person. When you're paranoid, paranoia is a symptom of somebody who's mentally ill, somebody who's mentally unwell. Okay, to say that. Okay, maybe I don't have to say the word ill so that I don't speak of those people as like they're, some degenerates. They have a problem, and this problem is embraced as something normal, but it's not. This is a symptom of mental insanity. This is not okay. And we are accepting this as normal. We are promoting this as normal. We are promoting this as something that is virtuous. It's not virtuous to be paranoid. It's not virtuous to panic. It's not virtuous to constantly be surrounded in fear, and succumb to every little fear that comes up. That's not natural. We are here to conquer these things. We're here to go beyond and above that. To prove to ourselves and to our environment that we can work with it, that we can fit in, instead of having to terrorize our environment constantly and then be surprised when the environment rejects us. Because we're repulsive. Repulsive to each other and repulsive to everything that surrounds us. Think about this really hard, because if we do not soar above this, this is our end. And I do not believe that this will end that way. But I do believe there's going to be a lot of victims, which already are. There are already victims to this. We have all been victimized by these lies and this deception. All of us. We all went to school. We all talk to each other. We all go to museums where we are taught this nonsense. We all observe these things, and we all have these opinions of how, yes, it was always like this, we don't need to change because that's just how we are. And we don't need to change, honestly. We just need to become who we are. We are now changed. With this brutality, with this behavior, that's not us. That's like a tiny, tiny little percentage of us, which comes out only when we are not doing well, when we are mentally unwell. So right now our society is sick. Our society is mentally ill or mentally unwell. And that's what it's displaying. So that's why all these things that we're accepting, these technologies and all these opinions on all these theses and theories and all this stuff, that's the symptom of us not being well. So we don't see, we're blinded. We have blinders on. So we accept this as something normal, that it's completely corrupt and completely untrue. Wake up, friends. Wake up. We need to change these things. We need to start looking deeper within ourselves and start realizing who we actually are. So we can wake up to our potentials and create a completely different world. Recreate it. That's what the reset was supposed to be. Don't believe that the reset is something is like, we are a waste and we have to be flushed out. No. The real meaning of the reset is for you to reset. Reset in here. In here. In your heart. That's where the reset is supposed to happen. For you to start seeing something not new, but something old that is now new to you. Something old, always there. That's the truth. That never changes, and it never will. It doesn't matter how many lies cover that. Underneath there, that will always be the same. And that's what you should be looking for. That's what you should be embracing. Not this other crap that is covering that. Alright? Good luck with everything.